Alright, so a lot of people have been asking in the comments for like tabs or tutorials, and honestly, I'm really bad at writing tabs, and I just learn everything by ear anyway, because it just comes naturally to me, I guess. But I understand that not everybody can learn things by ear that easily, and I don't know, I don't have very many subscribers, but like the few people who do watch my videos are really supportive, and that means a lot to me. So I thought I'd give back a little and make a tutorial video for you, because somebody asked me in the comments if I could do a tutorial for settle your scores, how to screw up your future and disappoint your loved ones. Definitely one of my favorite songs by Settle Your Scores. And if you haven't listened to The Wilderness by Settle Your Scores, you should seriously check it out. It's an awesome easycore album. It's like literally my favorite one. Also, sorry if I sound sick. I found out recently I have allergies and it sucks. Also, today I'm using my Squire Tom DeLonge inspired Strat. I have a Invader neck installed in the bridge, so it's got really twangy, nice twangy pop punk tone. And I've had it this whole time for about like a couple months, since like right before this pandemic started. But of course I haven't recorded any covers with it because I'm lazy and low-key depressed, but that's besides the point. So to the lesson. So basically we're going to be in drop D flat or drop C sharp tuning. It goes as follows. And I only know most of the rhythm and then a little bit of the lead. I'm pretty sure it's the majority of it is rhythm, because a lot of the lead sections in a lot of modern pop punk is like drowned out by the heavy rhythm guitars, which is fine because it sounds pretty cool. But so it's easier to learn the rhythm. So if you don't know already, power chords and drop tuning are kind of just barring the bottom three strings. So the first chord is going to be 9 on the E, A, and D, and then a 4. The same strings, all the chords are going to be on these bottom strings. So a 9, 4, and a 5. Then an open C note 4 times in this pattern. Down, up, down, down. So, and then 2, 4, 2, 0. And you're going to be doing a lot of legato type stuff like hammer-ons and pull-offs. So 2, hammer-on 4, pull off to 2, and then pull off to 0. So in all that's 9, power chord, 4, 5, 0, 4 times, palm muted, alternate like that, and then 2, 4, 2, 0. So and then it's similar to what you just did because you repeat those chords, but then you palm mute it more times. And it kind of follows a kick like a lot of metalcore gent or easycore does, and it's so it's down, up, down, 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 and then 2, 4, 2, and you can bend it a little bit, so it's and then you repeat the first phrase, and then palm mute 0, and then quickly hammer on to 2, and then hammer on from 2 to 4, so, and then from 4 to 5, and then 4, then you do a 2, hammer on 4, pull off to 0, and then a 2 on the D string. So it's like, it's kind of fast. So that's it slow, and this is it fast. But just practice like So the next part is the kind of genty, you know, like riff that's kind of just open chugs, but it's really fast. And honestly, I'm not even that good at playing it. I had to practice a lot before I made my cover, but I'll do my best. So it's just 0, obviously, as all gent kind of goes, but it's so you just do alternate picking up and down 4 times, and then open once, and then you do alternate 5 times, and then wait for a second, and then palm mute it again, and then open. So it's and you play that once, and then the second time you go 5, 4. There's a lot of in this song. So 5, 4, and then you do the same thing, except instead of open notes, you do it with the chords, but you can just palm mute the open note. So it's like 0, 0, 0, 0, 5, 4. And since I didn't say already, this song requires I feel like definitely like an intermediate to maybe advanced level, just because of the amount of fast like picking and stuff. But that's why I love easycore, because it's like pop punk but like more technical and heavier. I don't know. So he plays that part with the power chords twice, and then he does the same thing but a little bit backwards. So it's like, and then he does a 4 to a 5. So and he does a 2 on the D, pull off to a 0, and then a 2 on the D, and then slide to a 4. So it's and then you do the same thing again. But instead of going, you do a 5 on the D, pull off to a 4, 5, slide to a 7. So, because there's a lot of like double guitar parts, so one is going and the other one's like, and I like to mix in a little bit of both. So the first time I go and the second time I go, so you do a 4 power chord, 5 power chord, and then a 0 power chord. You kind of just let it ring while he says, so here's to all the years I've wasted. And then you do like a alternate chug like twice. So let it ring for a while. And then you do a 7, 9, 5. Never thought it could become this jaded. And then you do an alternate chug on the 5, and then strum it twice with the little mute in between. So like, and now the chorus is a little bit tricky, but you can get it. So it's 9, 7, 9 chords, and then 4, mute, 5. So and then palm mute 5 twice, and then 5 power chord, and it's a little tricky, but hammer onto a 7 power chord. So like, and then you do a strum down, up, kind of delayed, like. And you play it 4 times like that. And then you do 7 again. And then repeat. And then you do a open, like a chug kind of. And then 4, 5, 4. Legato. So whole thing is 4, 5, 4. And then there's a second part, and I kind of mix both of them. So it's an octave, which is a power chord without the middle note. And so it's a 9 and an 11. So a 9 on the H string and an 11 on the G string. So it's, and then slide to a 7 and a 9, and then back to the 9 and an 11. And then a 4 and a 6, palm mute, and then 5 and a 7. Down, up, palm mute twice, and then you slide from 5-7 to a 7-9 with 1 strum. And then you go back to 5-7 with that same pattern as well. But and then you go back to 7-9. So it's and then 0, chug, 4, 5, 4, and then you play that twice, and then at the end of the chorus it goes. And then it repeats that chug, and then it stops and mutes, and then it does harmonics of the top 4 strings, and then you strum it down. So it's like, and the harmonics are on the 7th fret. And then this is probably my favorite riff in the song. It's this rad, constantly. It's just a really fast riff, and you're constantly alternate picking through the whole riff. Alright, so I checked, and I think I might have played this riff wrong in my cover by 1 note, but it's fast, so I mean, it's hard to tell. But basically, it's 2 zeros, and then a 7, and then a 0, and then a 2, and then a 4, and then a 0, and then 2 more zeros. And this is the note I got wrong. I think I played this, but it's actually 2 zeros, and then a 2, and then a 0, and then a 4, and a 5, and a 4. So it's... And then it repeats that like 2 to 4 times. If you play along with the song, maybe slow down, you'll get it. That's what I do. It goes 0, and then 5, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7 on the A string. So. And then after that, you do an open chord. And then you mute it. And then you do a chug. Kind of like similar to the chugs we did earlier. So down, down, up, down. Palm muted, 3 times and then play it open once. And then you wait a second because there's not really guitar here, just drums, and then it goes. Then it goes. This is kind of a difficult riff. It's a 5 barred on the A and E strings, and then you play the 5 on the A, palm mute the 5 on the E twice, and then you play a 7 on the A, but you play the 7 once and the 5 palm muted once. And then you legato, so 7 to 9. So the whole riff is. And you kind of have to, stretch a little bit. And then you do another. And I don't play this on my cover, but you can do on the other, the other guitarist goes. Like, pretty sure it's 5 palm muted on the E, and then 4/5 legato, like hammer on the D. So, and then you go. So you kind of chug 3 times, and then the same riff, and then the chorus again. Well, the pre-chorus anyway. And then there's a riff here that's a little bit tricky as well, because you have to skip strings. So 7 on the D, a 5 on the E, palm muted twice, and then a 7 to a 9 hammer on the A string. So you vibrato that a little bit, and then you do the chorus. Except instead of going, you just do giving up, giving everything I've got. So you just do the first 3 chords of the chorus, and then you pause because it's one of those things where they have a stop and the singer's just singing. So it's like, and then you do the. And so after that part, it's a little different. You go open, and then up, down 4 times, and then a 4, and then a 5, and then just singular 7. So 4, 5, 7, and then you do the intro again. And then the other guitarist does a riff, and I pause, and then I do a 4, hammer on to a 5, pull off to a 0, and then a 5 on the D string. So it's like, and you can either go, if you want to play it a more difficult way, you go. So like, go back and forth between the two. But I just go. And then here's the breakdown. So you go 2 open drop C chords, muted right after. So it's like palm mute, and then open. Honestly, this is pretty hard to teach, so I'm just going to play it slow so you can do your best to follow. Wait. And every time I do this, that's kind of when the snare hits. Double kick. And then you do an open D string, hammer on to 2, and 4. So it's like it's easiest to hear if you play it fast. Like, that's the best way I can make it ring out, because that's kind of how they play it. But so I hope that helps. Sorry that I taught that pretty crappy, but I don't know how else to explain it. Just wait. And just try and play along with the song slower. And then the last time you go. And then a 9, 5. I played this wrong on my cover. I want to, but it's like. And then you let the open C ring out. Then you wait a second for the tom to go, and then the second guitar is going. So you're letting just the open D ring out while you're playing the 7 on the G 3 times. Then the 9 3 times, then the 12 3 times, then the 11 3 times, then the 9 twice, 11 twice. And then it's similar, but instead of going the second time, you go back to the 7. And I'll play it without the D string ringing, just so it's easier to follow. Except it has to be ringing, so. And I'm muting the top 2 strings, well, with, this part of my finger, and then I'm muting the bottom 2 strings with my thumb. So just those should be playing. And if you want, the rhythm is 7 strummed 3 times, and then the 8 strummed 3 times, and then the 9 kind of chugged, and then the 7 chugged, open chug, 5, and then 7 strummed 3 times, and then a 4, and then it repeats. And I just played the lead because it's kind of easier than the. Then there's a second. I think there's like 3 guitars, the parts going, because this one's going. And then there's a rhythm, and then there's a kind of dual guitar harmony going. So it's the same D string ringing out, but then you got a 11 on the G 3 times, a 12, so the same pattern, but it's an 11, 12, slide to a 16, and then a 14, 12, 14, 11, 12, 16, 14, 12, 11. So slow it's. and then that goes throughout the entire rest of the song, and it kind of fades out. And that's the song. I'm sorry if it was hard to follow or if I didn't do a good job at teaching. It's kind of more difficult song, but somebody left a comment asking for a tutorial today, so I felt, since I'm not really doing anything else on my channel right now, I might as well do tutorials. But I hope this helped. Leave a comment if you want another tutorial. I'll try my best, even though I'm not the best at teaching, because I learn by ear, so I know how to play the songs, but teaching is kind of hard. But let me know if you have any questions, and like, comment, subscribe, all that, because trying to get to 100 subscribers, even though that's nothing compared to some others. But stay home and stay safe, and peace out.